Hello folks, this is Shara and welcome to the video. Welcome to another episode of House Flipper. In this episode we'll be doing a few more jobs, or at least one more, to unlock some new tools. I'm looking forward to being able to spruce this place up a little bit. So anyway, let's see what they have next on the list. Next job, Jack Graham. Grahan? Radiators. I will pay you if I am fully satisfied or you get nothing. Winter is coming. The winters are hard and there are no radiators in my house. Mount them. If this were real life, I wouldn't accept such a rude thing. But oh well. Crouching is useful in case you need to be able to see better to rearrange objects. So, let's go. If you look on the minimap, you can see the little red icon that shows you where stuff has to be. So in this case, radiator. I don't want a large radiator. That wouldn't really fit properly on the wall. Did anyone else ever have these in their home? I know growing up, I grew up in a trailer and we usually had the ones that were, well, the vents on the floor for heating in our place. There's that one. Let's see. This one definitely has one. Nope. I keep hitting the other one by accident. Yeah, when I was growing up in a trailer, we had the vents on the floor, and when I grew up and we moved to a house in high school, we moved to a house an actual house. That one had vents towards the ceiling, so that was an interesting change. Okay, so one thing to bear in mind is we have to usually you have to unscrew these before adding the item. For the sink, the washer, and the bathtub or the shower in particular. Otherwise, you'll be sitting here trying to place the sink like I did the first time, not knowing why it was still red and would not allow you to place it until you realize you actually have to unscrew the things to allow it to be placed. I'm gonna go with this one because I like the look of it. It doesn't actually matter which one you choose in this particular job. So I'll leave that for a moment. And towel radiator. In a similar question, did any of you folks ever grow up with a towel radiator? I certainly didn't. I didn't even know they were a thing until I played this game. This game I don't think is... I think it's made in Europe somewhere, possibly. Saunas are a lot more common in this game than they really are in America, so it just makes me think. Anyway, like I said, I'd never seen a towel radiator prior to this game, so if you ever had, let me know. I'm interested. Also, I'm going to use some of my perks real quick. Perks. Handyman. So for this one, I'm going to do the faster mounting to speed up the actual placing of items. Plastering is actually relatively rare. You only use the buckets of plaster if there are holes in the wall, which is not super common. So I'm going to choose the tile one for now. We still have to unlock the tile tool by doing these little missions at the start of the game, but being able to hold more than one tile at a time is very helpful. Let's see. I'm glad I got one of these because one of the options here that I'm going to actually choose is higher payment, 10% extra payment for the job. This one's negative 2% of the job's requirements. I don't really have much of a use for this because I always try to 100% it, but if you want to finish a job without it being 100%, this is useful because you can just get to like 70 or 68% and just finish the job. You won't get paid as much, but you'll complete it and you'll get some money. This price negotiation one only counts for when you're actually selling houses and not doing jobs. This is a good one to get once you start doing that, because you can speak to the speak, quote unquote. You can use the button to ask the buyer for a couple more $1,000s, and you can choose how much, and they'll agree or disagree. And obviously, unlocking more of these will increase your success. I usually leave that till later, though. In this, for the moment, 10% extra payment. And lastly, I did accidentally earn another one of these, so I'm going to choose Weeds Visible. The rest of these are not bad options, but this is just personal preference in this case. Alright, so let's assemble this sink. There are options in the main menu that let you choose whether to make mounting items easier or harder. I think I have mine set on standard. But yeah, you can, if this makes you too anxious, you can definitely make it easier. Typically, if you highlight something and it's blue, you can move it. Like you'll see there, I clicked the wrong thing and it was red, so it'll usually tell you if you're doing the wrong thing. If you cancel, if you exit out of this by pressing escape, you're gonna have a little bit of a mess. As you can see, and it would have happened if I did this as well. Water starts gushing out. It'll never flood, but it will make a mess that will not stop until you finish assembling the item or sell it. So let's just finish that real quick. I'll clean that. There we go. Technically, I didn't have to for this job. Me not cleaning that wouldn't have affected my earnings. But, you know, kind of feels like a dick move. Alright, all jobs completed. Got 100% and got almost $900 just for throwing in a few radiators. If this worked this way in real life, I might actually consider a career in house flipping or, you know, handyman work. My old man is pretty skilled at this sort of thing, but not so much me. It's funny, like, sometimes it'll show you before and after images of rooms that you didn't do anything to, which is always sort of funny. Alright, so that's one quick job out of the way. I still don't have any new tools, so I'll go into the next job in hopes that I will soon have more tools. Okay. Oh, so this next job is, as you can see, a garden-related job from Eveline Hawes. Hello, I work at home in my dentist's office. I can deal with all kinds of teeth cavities, but not with the holes and weeds in my garden. Please lay some gravel on the front part of my yard to get rid of those. Also, could you plant something on there to make it look better? Kindest regards, Eveline Hawes. So when you're doing outside jobs, you typically cannot enter the houses, which, you know, makes sense. We're only supposed to be dealing with outside. From now on, you are able to design a garden, look for plants in the garden category in the shop. Congratulations, you've unlocked a new tool. By using the garden hose, you'll be able to water plants, fill containers with water, and wash dirt off the outside of houses. This comes in handy. There's no dirt in this area, but I gotta place gravel in all these spots. The garden DLC is interesting because, like the other one, once you enter a room, or a section in this case, it tells you what you have to do to complete it. I've still got, let's see, there we go. Scatter the gravel, single color. I'm gonna make it a square. It doesn't actually change anything, but it makes me feel better. and buy many. I could do a few different colors here, which is neat. I'm gonna stick with white. This is one way of taking care of your lawn, I suppose. Okay, it's gonna want me to plant some plants, which I will do in a moment, but first... You can do these in any order you'd like. I prefer having everything evened out prior to this. So as you can see on the right, it wants 2-colored gravel this time, so... I'll stick with white for now, but some of these other colors aren't bad. Oh, one thing is, this will not get rid of weeds. But it will expose them, so they're easier to pick. So those were dandelions we just uncovered. Have any of you folks ever eaten dandelion greens? I grew up in the country, and my dad would often try to pick those. Dandelion greens are actually really nice. If you get them prior to the flowers forming, they're actually still really... They don't taste bad, they're not bitter. But they're just basically like any other kind of green. Mixed green. Problem is, you have to get them prior to the flowers forming, because once they do, they get bitter and gross, and they just taste nasty. There's that one. So yeah, we grew up... I grew up not only in a rural place, but in the middle of the woods. So a lot of times we would go out and my dad hunted, and sometimes we would forage stuff. Like there was a couple different places with wild garlic back home that we would get a hold of. We go there certain times of the year. It was usually spring and summer that you harvested wild garlic. It's actually one of those interesting crops that is in the ground over the winter. Chives were another thing we used to get from nearby, and in the spring, fiddleheads. Near my dad's where he went fishing most often on the river, there were a lot of really big trees that threw a lot of shadow, and as a result of that shadow and it being so close to the water, a lot of ferns would form in the shade. And if you, similar to the dandelion greens, if you harvest those prior to the ferns unfolding, you get fiddleheads. They're, they're the rolled, my apologies, they're the rolled up ferns prior to them, unfurling and becoming a proper plant. And if you harvest them like that, they're actually pretty tasty. They taste, I guess, a little bit like Brussels sprouts. It's funny, they come in these little... It's hard to explain. You have to sort of dig them out of the ground a little bit with your hands. And they come in these little clusters, because the actual root of the fern is more like a little cluster of things from which springs several ferns at a time. And each one of the little fiddleheads is covered in this thin, skin. Kind of like a peanut. The thin skin covering the actual peanut itself inside the bigger shell. So you'd have to, that's one thing we would do after coming home from those trips. We'd have to sit there and sort of shell them. Not quite shell, because they didn't have a hard shell. But you would have to get rid of that. And then soak them to get rid of the dirt. And later on cook them, or freeze them. So I could actually choose any of these. The only thing it's making me do is plant a coniferous shrub. I have plenty of choices here. I'm gonna pick this big old boy. Oh wait, never mind, that's not one of the big ones. It's actually tiny. Is this one of the... Yeah, that'll do. Covers a little bit of space, huh? I'll plant that in a moment. I want to choose all of these first. So, for any job, it'll tell you what type of plant you need to use. You usually get some choices. Looks like this is another shrub. I'm actually going to choose something different, not quite as enormous. What about this guy? How big are you? Closer to the door, so I don't think I'll have you be as crazy. This is supposed to be a dentist's office. Yeah, this is a fir, isn't it? The tree. No, never mind. It's a pine. My old man was in the Christmas tree business for most of my life, and still works on a Christmas tree farm back home. So I might know a little bit more than I should about Christmas trees. So the process of these is dig, put in the plant, cover the plant with soil, water it. You can do them, I could technically sit here and do them one by one. But I like doing them, you know, getting all the steps done first. In each of them, I mean. But yeah, in related news, if you ever want to know anything about Christmas tree farming, I'm your girl. I will say that the Christmas trees that folks want in their homes are usually 5 to 6 years old, maybe as old as 7 if they've got tall ceilings. 10 years plus, or really you can only have them if you have a mansion or an outdoor place to put them in, because those are some tall boys. Baby Christmas trees, when they're about 2 years old, they're a little shorter than this shrub here, and they're super delicate, so you have to weed them very carefully. Anyway, let's complete this job. Almost $2,000 for that, huh? I do enjoy the before and after of the gardening stuff, because usually it's pretty impressive. More so than the stuff inside the buildings sometimes. So because of this job, I now have unlocked the fire hose, meaning I can totally wash the outside of my building. And what do you know? There's some dirt. Let's see. What is the dirt it's talking about? There we go. Fun thing about this game, sometimes you can wash stuff through the wall. Don't ask me, I don't know how it works. Oh. There we go. Okay, well, it looks more or less clean for now. So that's 2 jobs done. I think I'll end this here and come back for another job or 2 in the next video. But thank you for watching. Until we talk again, please make sure to take care of yourselves and each other. And like I said, until we talk again, have a good one. Bye-bye.